replacing the belt on my dryer. I started doing laundry today and it cut out. Heat works, everything else works, but whenever I go to start it, the tumbler will not turn. So I have unplugged it. I have taken out these top screws. And the reason that I did that was because this lifts up. As you can see, the little latches, those fit in, hold that bottom part secure. And we need to get underneath that because this should lift up. And in order to release that piece, if you look underneath inside of the door, there's two screws which I have also removed. So we're gonna try and get this up so that we can release the front part, and that should give us access to the belt. So I got the top off, and just like I thought, there's no belt even in here, so it must have snapped. You can even see right here the line of where the old belt was, so it's probably sitting somewhere down in there. So the way that we're going to release this front part is if you look over to the left front and the right front, right here and right here are the screws that hold this front part on. So be careful because these can be sharp, but I'm going to take those off, release this front part, and that should give me access to get into where I need to be to replace this. So real quickly, before I actually put it on, if you look at this belt, there's two sides. This one side looks kind of like almost like it's woven, I guess, and the other side has little tracks. The track side is what's going to go down onto the metal, so it should be track side down whenever you put it on. I'm the only person here, so I'm going to try and put this on, and then I'll kind of show you how I did it. It's basically going to just loop around from the top, and then I'll dangle it down, and then with the slack, I'll use that to go around the tension rod and the actual motor. So I'll show you what that looks like after. Alright, so I got my wire on, and I would advise doing this with somebody because it was incredibly hard to get my hand in there, pull that tension rod down, get the wire on while holding up the drum. It would have just been a whole lot simpler if somebody would have held the drum up a little bit for me so I could have gotten both hands in, but I got it done. As you can see, the wire, or the belt, comes down off the drum, and I can't get an angle to show you exactly where it is, but that little square piece there at the bottom with all the wires going into it is the motor, and on the back of it is a tiny little round notch that the belt fits perfectly into. You can't miss it whenever you do it. It's right in front of it. I had to pull that tension rod down after I looped it around there and come back up over it. So it comes down like a U over top of that motor piece, comes back up over top of the tension rod, and then as you can see, it goes back out underneath the drum. So now we're going to give this a couple of spins just to make sure that this is all in line. Like we said before, we don't want any kinks. We don't want this going off like that. So you can see we want that right where the other one used to be, right there in the middle in that little notch. And then after you go over a little bit, make sure it doesn't kink over or get too far off space. You should be good to put it back together. And hopefully, I didn't do this video for nothing and it works. So here we go, we'll see. Okay, put everything back on, same way that I took it off. It's all back. Only difference now is that I've replaced the belt. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Got it set for more dry, moment of truth. little bit of a rattle, but it's working. I can try and figure out why that is later, but the good thing is I figured out the problem and it's working now. So that's how you replace the belt on your dryer.